Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hello.
Good morning, Julianne. Good morning, everybody.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Very good. We will give everybody a couple more minutes to get on, and then we will rock and roll. This one shouldn't take a full hour, so we'll just make it short and sweet, okay?
Okay.
Beautiful. Congratulations on a great year, Yvette.
Thank you, Julianne.
How are you feeling?
A little bit much better. You know, this is my third week being, sick, but I'm feeling much better today. Thanks God and thanks for
Good. Just
asking.
make sure you take it easing in, because that's the one thing that people tell me is that their energy is just, I mean, they do one thing and it zaps them for 2 days. So just ease into it,
Yes, that's right. That's right. Sometimes like yesterday, I worked like 5 hours doing my follow-up, and I was so exhausted, and I got a headache. I mean, a really bad headache. And my husband says, You should, take care of yourself, because I couldn't be here all the time for you."
Yep.
And I say, yeah, that's right. So today I'm going to take it more easy than yesterday.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to
Thank
hear it. All right. Got a few more people jumping on, which is good news. We'll start in 1 more minute. Kelly has a beautiful lake view. Is that your actual backyard?
No, that's just up at Indian Hills.
Oh, very
Oh,
pretty.
That's actually #1 Seminole. That's where you tee off.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So
Yeah.
out there.
Pretty view.
Yeah, you'd rather see that than me right now.
I'm going to apologize in advance. I either have a head cold or my sinuses or something. So I'm very congested today, and I apologize in advance for sounding so horrible. And if I mute myself for a minute, it's because you don't want to hear my nose blowing. Okay.
don't worry.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for being here.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk today about homestead exemption. Okay. So the beautiful thing about Georgia is that it allows us in certain counties to be able to not have to pay full price for our taxes if we live in the property. So there are some exemptions to this process. So not every state has homestead exemption. I know in New Jersey we did not. So it varies from state to state. And in Georgia, it also varies from county to county. Some of them are much more lenient on homestead exemptions, and some it's different prices. So it really depends on the assessed value of the property. And with that said, it's not automatic. Once you've purchased your home, starting the next calendar year, you can apply for homestead exemption. There's a deadline every year of being able to apply, and usually it's right around April 1st. So it's just the first few months of the year. And you have to prove that you are living in the property. So what would be some things that would prove that somebody lived there?
The alta, to show them the alta.
Yep. So got to have the settlement statement to show that they own the property. What else?
Utility bills.
Utility bills.
A utility bill. What
and
else?
License, driver license.
Driver's
and
license,
Social
yes.
ID. Mhm.
Exactly. You need to be registered. You have your driver's license registered at that address. Okay. So there's a couple of things where you have your taxes sent. If you post that as your tax address, those are some ways that you can prove that this is your primary residence. Okay. So once they've got that proof, then they can apply. And once they've been accepted, it significantly reduces their taxes because they live in the property. It is automatic. So once you've applied for it, you will get it every year until you move. Okay. It's easy as real estate agents to get an idea of if a house has been homesteaded or not because of the tax that's on the FMLS. You can pretty much tell if somebody's had it as a rental, a second home, or if they've been able to homestead it. And a lot of people don't realize that this is an option to them. So they're wasting, I mean, they're losing out every single year by not filing for their homestead exemption. So it makes it a really great offer for us to be able to help them out. In addition to that, many of the counties in Georgia also have senior discounts. So once you've turned 62, you can apply for a senior exemption, and it significantly takes out all the school tax. And that's a real awesome thing. So it basically drops your taxes down about to a third of what they were. So, but not every county has it. So when you're out showing property, it's important for you to know which of the counties have homestead exemptions and senior exemptions, because your people can save money. For example, Fulton is not as good as Cobb or Cherokee. It's significantly less. So a lot of people don't like being in Fulton because they have to pay more taxes. Okay. Any questions so far?
Where do you find the information on? I missed that. I just jumped on.
Find the information for
Whether or not what county has what?
exemptions?
Yes, ma'am.
You would go onto each of the county sites and look for the homestead exemptions. Okay, so
Okay.
let me give you. Every single one of them is different. So can everybody see my email?
Yes.
There's a quick county link. I happen to pull this off of an email from somebody else, which is great. And so each one has a different source. So let's choose Fulton, for example. So it's fultonassessor.org is where you go to learn about exemptions. Okay. And with like Cherokee County, Cherokee is qpublic.net.
Where can we get all those links? Can you forward that to us?
I don't know if I forwarded if the links will actually stay. Does anybody know that?
They do. I actually so on my Keller Williams website that I built, I created a link for all the counties of North Georgia, so Atlanta,
But
Metro
did you
Atlanta.
have to create those, or were you able to just copy and
I have a
paste them?
tool. There's a tool that you can use. I can forward it to everybody on this call that can help you write your own link deal.
Because I know you can create a hyperlink pretty easy, but the question is, if I just copy those and just send them to you guys, will you get them, or will it just be? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a web tool that I use to help me build it on the website, but when you forward, that link should still work.
All right.
That email link should still work.
All right. So I'm going to be writing down everybody's name so that I make sure that I send this to you. And what was nice about this particular email is because it's basically every county that we would be servicing is here. so that you could use that as it just makes it faster to be able to find them. Okay, so every single one, like I said, is different. So you have a couple different options. And you don't have to do this, but this is a great service that I provide my clients and a great service I suggest that you provide. So at the end of January, right around the time that they get all their tax information, I send out a letter. This is the way I do it. There's other ways. You could send an email like this particular agent did, send an email with all the links and said, hey, you could apply for homestead exemption, click your county and do it. But they're not giving you any resource except for just the hyperlink. So you could do it that way. You could do a service call and just say, hey, it's your favorite realtor. I'm calling to remind you to apply for your homestead exemption. Here's what you're going to need, and tell them. Or you could send them a letter, and I send them a letter and follow up with a phone call. And here's what my letter looks like. It's nothing special.
You email it or mail it?
A good question. So I've thought about emailing it, but I mail it. I hand mail it for one reason. They have to submit it with their settlement statement anyway. So that's why I submit it. So the letter says, I hope you're having a great year and enjoying your house. There's some new opportunities for saving. This is reminding you that you can claim homestead. Here's the website address, and I give the website address and the deadline, and I bold that. Hope it's helpful, along with your settlement statement. So I make a copy of their settlement statement and the letter, and I mail it to them, to their house. Then I follow up with a phone call. Hey, wanted to make sure you got the letter so that you could apply for your homestead.
What's the
Okay.
settlement statement part again?
The settlement statement is the last, the final document from their closing that they've signed. The ALTA, it's called several things, settlement statement, ALTA, but it's the last document that you get. And you've got a copy of it because it's given to you when you get your check, commission check. And I send a copy of that with the letter.
Julianne, I'm so sorry. I just got on. I ran into traffic. The letter, can I get with you later on what letter you send?
Yeah, I
Thank-
want to send a copy of it to everybody in case you want to use something similar to it.
Okay.
And I'll also be sending the links to the different counties. So you can either choose to plug that in, or you could just choose to send an email out to everybody with the links and let them deal with it. Like I said, every county is a little bit different of how you have to apply, what you have to provide proof of living in the property. Remember, this is for their residents. So a rental property, land, farm doesn't apply. It's just for where they're living. Somebody just asked a chat, and that is correct. It's not for investment properties at all, only for their home that they live in. Okay. So you've got to have proof that you live in the property. Okay. Curious, how many of you have homestead exemption already on your house that you own?
Oops.
I do.
I did. I sold, and I will on my new.
Absolutely. Okay. If you don't, you're missing out every single year. You are missing out and paying way too much on taxes. So this is something.
I'm going to say we have reapplied for exemptions, and we also found out that my husband's in the military, and if you have any type of military disability, you can actually apply. Once you can get a letter where certain counties give you an additional tax exemption for if you have 100% disability in the military. So if you know people that have 100% disability in the military, that is something that a lot of counties respond to and provide exemptions for.
Exactly. There's also in some counties, if you're over 65 and you make less than 10,000 a year, you have no tax at all. You pay nothing. So there are some significant exemptions depending on your situation. And you don't have to be an expert at this, but it's just helping your people be aware that they need to look into it so that you can save them money. And if you're saving them money, are you not their best friend?
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's see here. I want to make sure that I've got everybody's name. Let me do this. Everybody should have my email address. It's Julianne, Julianne at soldbyjulianne.com. Would you please, if you have not coached with me before, because if you coach with me, I have your email. But if you've not coached with me before, please shoot me a quick email and say Homestead, and I will copy everybody that's here on this call and send you a copy of my letter and also those links that I had so that you can plug into them if you want to access the different links to the different counties. Okay.
Wonderful.
Again, every
Awesome.
county is different. They're not all created equal. And it's a great idea as an agent to understand which ones have the better exemptions, because people appreciate that. Your expertise. All right, let me put it in here.
Julianne, I would like to share something that I learned
Please.
about this home exemption. One of my clients that they purchase a property with tax ID, you know, international people that they don't have a citizenship or they don't have a residence here in the United States. Unfortunately, they couldn't apply. They couldn't be approved for that home exemption.
Really?
Yes.
Could they not prove that they were
No.
residents living there?
Yes, even though they living in the property because they don't have a citizenship, they
That's
couldn't.
good to know.
Yeah, I was so surprised about that, unfortunately.
I am too, because I thought it applied to everybody that was, you know, living in the house. So thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Other questions, concerns? This is a great opportunity to use as a touch point for your people.
Yeah, I want to say that I really want to appreciate you, Julianne, because that is a great idea to touch our database.
Exactly. And you could even follow up with people that have not just that you sold to last year, but others, and say, hey, I'm just checking in. This is the time that I always do a temperature check. Did you already apply for your homestead exemption? If they did, awesome, right? It's perfect. I'm glad that you're getting that discount. There's no reason why you can't talk to everybody that you've sold to before. And it's new year, right? This is a great question that you can ask them to give you a reason for calling. Also, if you're sending the letters out, then following up, hey, did you get the letter? Make sure that you apply. You could even put a tickler closer to the end of the deadline. Hey, I just wanted to remind you again, if you haven't, make sure you're applying for that homestead exemption. You're not bothering them, you're helping them. And there's a difference between that, right?
Hey, Julianne,
Yeah, babe.
can you do a search, say, hey, good morning, of the tax records and find people, say in an area that you're farming that are over 62 or over 65? Can you see on the tax records if they've taken those exemptions?
You can pretty much tell whether or not they have based on the tax price that they're paying. You can tell whether they've done the senior exemption. You're thinking of using that as an opportunity to reach out to people?
Exactly. And my thought is, if they're older and they've been in their house for a long time, so it hasn't sold and the tax records really haven't gotten caught up with the value, so their tax amount may be pretty low just for those reasons, not just because they haven't taken the exemptions that they are qualified for.
Right. So, I mean, it does
I
take.
didn't know if it actually stated somewhere.
And honestly, it's really hard to tell, because if you're using something like Realist that's showing you, you know, what the taxes were paid in 19 or in 20, like you said, sometimes it's not accurate because it's not up to date yet. you could have purchased a home last year and it's showing 2019 taxes and they're not right. There could have been somebody else's exemptions and not your own. So I don't know that I would rely heavily on it, but you certainly could use it as a guide. And just, and
they probably,
it serves for a question, right? I was just checking with you. Are you taking advantage of? Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So whether they are or not, it's still a question that you can reach out with. So I kind of answered my own question.
You did. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt, right? Anytime that we can offer a value to people is the most important thing, right? We've got to offer value to people, and this is a great way to do it. The senior exemption, and most people don't realize, I mean, you can apply for it in 62, but you really don't get it till 63. As long as one person in the household is 62, you can get that exemption. But they have to be, I think they have to be on title. It can't be like a grandmother that's living in the house and so you get it. I think it has to be the people that are on the title in order to get the senior discount. But it's significant. It works out really well. My husband was there the day he turned 62. He's like, all right, sign me up, sign me up. It was great. All right, other questions. So everybody sent me an email. If I haven't already talked with you before, I gotta make a list.
Yeah, hi Julianne. I missed the very beginning. So, if you're single on the house and you don't have children, is that correct? You can claim.
You can claim whether you have children or not, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yep, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is if you are the homeowner. Okay?
Thank you.
Kieran, I've got you. I'm trying to make sure I've got for everybody here so that I don't miss anybody. David, House. Deja, do I have Deja? Yes, I have Deja. Janice. Glad there's so many people interested in this because it's a great tool.
Yeah, Julianne, would you also send your?
Would I do what?
Will you also send your sample email to us along with the links, or is that what you're sending? Sorry,
Yes,
I got on late and then my phone rang.
I'm sending you a copy of my letter that I mail out to my clients and a copy of the links to each of the counties in case you wanted to plug that in. Now we talked about there's a variety you can do. Wendy, do I have Wendy? Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get everybody down here and before anybody jumps off. If you were here, you deserve
Gotcha.
to get.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Wendy, Madison, Wendy, I don't think I have your email, so I'm going to need you to send it to me. And I know I don't have Rachel's. And David, I may not have yours. Nina, I don't have yours. Shamsa, you gave me yours. Wendy, I don't have yours. And Kieran, I don't have yours. So everybody else's I should have. Okay.
Julianne, this is Nina. You're talking about Nina Bell, right? I just want to make sure it's not two of us on.
Yeah, I don't have your email. So if you could shoot me an email, that would be great.
Okay, I did. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. So what was I talking about? Oh, you can send a letter. You can send an email with the link for it, but they still have to gather their settlement statement. And let's face it, when somebody's moved in, do you think they can put their finger on where their settlement statement and their documents are right away? Probably not. So you're doing them a favor by mailing it to them because it's like, oh, here's what I need, right? And then all they have to do is go on and figure out what other document they need in order to be able to qualify and to sign up for it. Okay. Other questions about exemption?
Julianne?
Yeah.
Kieran Beckford is my admin assistant, and
Got it.
she's on this conference as well. So the email that she sent you, it's my email.
Team Ivy, got it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Awesome, thanks. Okay, perfect. All right. Any other questions? I told you this was going to be quick and easy. It's not difficult. It's just a great tool and resource that we have that we need to take advantage of. So I recommend that you, if you've got clients that you've worked with in the last year and even in the last few years, I'd use this as an opportunity. I would definitely send it to everybody that closed with you last year. And I'd use it as an opportunity to call the others and just say, hey, just want to make sure you are taking advantage of this. Maybe even when you know people that are turning a certain age and getting close to 62, it may be a great call to say, hey, just wanted you to know, did you realize, see, I saw you had a great birthday. Did you realize that when you turn 62, not that you did, but when you turn 62, you can apply for your senior discount. And again, it's by county by county. It is not equal. All right. Cool. Any other questions about Homestead? All right, go out there and make somebody's day, will you? That will be so thrilled that you're saving them some money. And Yvette, I want to hear that you filed for your Homestead so that you're getting some extra money in your pocket too, okay?
I'm sure I will. Thank you.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Hey, Julianne, I have one
ma'am.
last question. I'm totally breaking Michelle's rule. I'm not looking at the camera though while I drive. I'm curious, is this a thing that's every year? Like you had said, even if it's someone in 2019 just calling, making sure you're taking advantage of this, can they get this exemption every year?
Oh yeah, once you've applied for it,
Awesome.
and you get it every single year, it's automatic.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You bet. You just want to make sure that they actually did it, because just because you sent it to them doesn't mean that they've actually filed for it. You know, some people just aren't really good at that. So it's always good to follow up and just make sure they're taking advantage. Okay. All right, y'all, go out and make somebody's day. Okay.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.